This is William Kimberley, the editor of Race Tech magazine. I'm here at Prodrive to talk to David Lapworth, the technical director of the company, to talk about the Mini World Rallycross Championship car they are developing, which is here behind us. So, David, what is it, and what have you been doing to it?
Well, it's our first sort of toe in the water as a rallycross car. It's currently an evolution from the World Rally car that we designed for the World Rally Championship. Yep. So we've not started with a clean sheet of paper. We've kind of put a toe in the water by stretching the car from its WRC spec into a rallycross specification. So mainly that's about horsepower and weight reduction. Okay. But the sort of DNA is very much the World Rally car.
You talk about horsepower, and could you go into figures here?
At the moment it's about 50% more than it would run in World Rally Championship sort of spec, and long term it needs to be more than that, really. But the events that we're doing, global rallycross mainly in the short term and so on, they're relatively tight and twisty, so we think that we've got, to quote Rolls-Royce from the old days, we've got adequate horsepower for the time being, but long term we'll need to take that further.
And a lot of that's to do with, apart from just the engine development, is to do with, I guess, the turbo application and things like that you're allowed to have on this car?
Yeah, there's a lot of freedom. We could be quite radical, and the objective will be for next year to do something much more radical. But as I said, it's a toe in the water. We need to, develop our experience in rallycross. We need to show people what we can do. We need to sort of build relationships and sort of put ourselves to be in a position to do a full-on assault on the Rallycross Championships next year. So this, as I say, it's a first step. It's not our ultimate, but we think it's enough to be interesting and to show people what we can do.
Okay. And you talk about weight as well. There's a weight reduction in the World Rally Championship car as well?
Yeah, the biggest area of freedom, I guess, is in the bodywork. There's a lot more composite panels on this car, so it's not exactly high tech, if you like, but it's a job to do. We've taken well over 100 kilos out of the car. So the car's a lot lighter and 50% more power. Yes. It's in a different ballpark in terms of performance to where it started life as a World Rally car.
Okay. As an engineer, is it something you enjoy because you have this freedom now? You're building yourself a sort of very rapid go-kart, as it were.
It is enjoyable in a way. I mean, sometimes it's frustrating. It's a bit like being in a sweet shop and not knowing where to start. Sure. We're usually so constrained by regulations that we're sort of focused into narrow areas looking for tiny improvements. Yes. And actually it's quite a strange experience to come to a formula where the regulations are over a couple of pages. Sure. And it's difficult to know where to turn next. We're making huge steps, literally 50% more horsepower, 100 kilos of weight saving, and there's a lot more to come if we were starting with a clean sheet of paper.
Sure. And of course, with Prodrive behind it, you're preparing the car, developing the car, but ultimately, of course, you want customers for it, and I guess you're looking at it for a customer base, and I guess one of the strengths of Prodrive, apart from the engineering, is the supply too. You can offer parts, perhaps off the shelf, as it were, where at a race meeting, where perhaps other rally teams don't have that facility. Yeah,
I think so. Realistically, at this moment in time, rallycross isn't a kind of manufacturer-led sport. Yeah. The manufacturers certainly are showing interest, and there's a certain level of manufacturer support in some of the operations. But this isn't like the sort of giant killing works sort of VW or Citroën World Rally Championship type thing. But it's definitely an area where we've got plenty of experience. Obviously we want to bring that level of sort of professionalism and technology to it, but our focus will be on making sure that we can supply more cars and we can support them to the level that we're used to in the World Rally Championship, where we've got the spares on the shelf and the customer support and the engineers to back it up, and hopefully that's something that Rallycross will appreciate. Hopefully there'll be more than one Prodrive car out there. We'd like to think there'll be several.
Okay. And of course, in William Doran, you've got a driver who's a proven winner, as it were. Is he a good development driver for you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously it's early days, and he hasn't had much chance to do much testing. Sure. The time scales and budgets that we've been working to has been pretty much, do it, get it on the trailer, send it to the event. And Liam's perhaps done 50 kilometres or something of test driving. But it certainly helps having somebody who knows the game and can give us the sort of the basic feedback that we need just to get started. We obviously want to bring a level of kind of objectivity to it that you know we've learned from our other activities. But we still need somebody to point us in the right direction and to give us a good benchmark. We need to be able to scale where we are, knowing that the driver is a representative benchmark. And I think in Liam we've got somebody who, can put the car where it deserves to be on the grid. And if it's not where we want to be, we know that we've got to look at ourselves. So it's perfect.
Okay. David, thank you very much indeed for talking to Racetech TV. Thank you very much indeed.